I like to start every day with a prayer. It gives me the strength I need for my work. Without prayer, I simply wouldn't be able to keep going. I need time to reflect.
Sister Nora McNamara is an Irish Holy Rosary sister who pioneered the Diocesan Development Services in the Ida Diocese, Igalaland, Nigeria. The DDS is a self-help organization dedicated to the development of the people of Igalaland. The objective is to help the people to help themselves, to become self-reliant and self-sufficient. The headquarters of the Diocesan Development Services are located in Ida, and it is from this center that all programs are planned and coordinated. Igalaland has a population of over 1 million. Farming is a way of life for most people. The DDS is the only non-governmental organization in Igalaland that offers agricultural advice and assistance to farmers. The DDS is very sensitive to respect local traditions and practices. Using traditional farming methods and local practices as a starting point, programs are developed at the agricultural and technological level that is most beneficial to the farmers. Through a system of on-farm adaptive research, all new seeds, fertilizers and farm chemicals are tested under local conditions for growth, yields, vigor, vitality, germination and crop maturity.
So because of the insect,
the DDS goes about on-farm adaptive research in two ways. First, local farmers are involved in research projects. Research is often carried out on the farmer's own land. This ensures that new practices can be integrated into existing farming techniques, and it also allows for constant feedback between the DDS and the farming community. All problems brought by the farmers receive attention. The second method of on-farm adaptive research is on the DDS's own research farms. Specialist and more experimental projects can be conducted here. The research farms are also used as classrooms for instruction. Farmers come from far and wide to learn ways to improve crop yield and quality, to find ways to improve their soil, and to find solutions to the many problems they face every day. Staff give advice and training to farmers. They introduce them to new seeds and the proper use of fertilizers. They give instruction in seed and produce drying techniques and in the use of simple technology. In addition to agriculture, the DDS is involved in many activities, including primary health care, employment projects, training and youth programs, and the rehabilitation of the handicapped. As a consequence of this, the Ida office is always a hub of activity. A lot of organization and backup is needed to ensure that everyone who calls is helped.
yes,
A farmers' council is a group of 10 to 25 farmers. It is a primary group, and it is based on the traditional Igala meeting called the Oja. We have adapted the Oja to meet farmers' needs. So what we are doing is simply building on what exists in the society already.
The affairs of all communities in Igalaland are regulated through traditional meetings called Oja. All Oja meetings start with the sharing of the kola nut. It is a traditional gesture of welcome and of thanks. At OJA meetings, community problems are discussed, work is assigned, and younger people are initiated into the decision-making process. The OJA has its own welfare system, and there is even a fund to donate money to needy members. Knowing that every developmental project has to start from where the people are and from what they know already, the DDS used the OJA as the basis for their Farmers' Council project. This project is the nucleus from which the DDS developed. Farmers in Igalaland have little money. When they needed money for new seeds or stock, they had to borrow at exorbitant interest rates. So, the DDS set up a formal saving scheme. The OJA was used as a basis, and ideas from the credit union system were introduced. It was agreed that a membership fee had to be paid by each group for the running of the organization. In this way, the concept and actuality of self-reliance was introduced at the very beginning. Funds were then obtained abroad to augment the savings of the farmer, and this became the revolving loan fund, which functions to this very day. Loans to farmers are based on how well the farmer saves and how well he works his land. Farmers are encouraged to take loans as late as possible to avoid unnecessary interest, while at the same time they are encouraged to keep their crops until they can get the best possible price. A measure of the success of this scheme is that 99.5% of all loans given are completely repaid. Farmers now improve the quantity and quality of their crops by using improved varieties of seeds and fertilizers purchased with a loan from the DDS. At present, there are over 1,000 farmer councils with approximately 10,000 paid-up members. Each member is in contact with 2 or 3 neighboring farmers with whom he shares and discusses new information. In this way, 25 to 30,000 farmers are directly reached by this project alone.
The seed multiplication farm has been developed because of the increasing demand from the farmers for improved varieties.
Because of this need for new and improved varieties of seeds, the DDS set up their own seed multiplication farms. Nigeria has a number of agricultural research stations within its borders. One of these is the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture at Ibadan. The IITA are constantly developing new varieties of seeds. After testing these seeds, they are released to organizations such as the DDS. The seeds supplied may often be as little as 100. However, the seeds are planted and harvested and replanted again and again until there is enough seed to meet local demand. The multiplication process is simple but lengthy. First, the sand is sifted and sterilized. Then the cooled sand is placed in containers and the seed carefully planted. The containers are then covered and tagged, placed in a special room. 4 to 7 days later, the seed is checked for germination. The total multiplication process can take up to 2 years. During this time, the new seed varieties get extensive evaluation for their suitability and performance under local conditions. A germplasm store is located in Ida. This is a store where the DDS keeps all seeds, old, new, and rejected. Seeds have to contain less than 15% moisture in order to store well. Moisture content is found by using a moisture meter. Seeds are also regularly tested for vigor, germination, vitality and viability. In this way, the seeds released to farmers can be guaranteed to germinate. No seed is discarded, for there may come a time when a rejected seed could be of great value. All local seeds and near local seeds are collected and stored here. Seed multiplication farms are vital because they ensure an adequate supply of tested and proven seeds for future harvests. They are also a major factor in combating famine. A reoccurring farming problem throughout the region is the intermittent availability of fertilizers. The DDS, with the cooperation of the farmer councils, purchase large quantities of fertilizers when they are available. The fertilizers are stored and then distributed to farmers when needed. Also distributed in this way are many necessary herbicides and pesticides. These farming aids are only used by farmers under the direct supervision of staff. None of the chemicals are released to farmers without consultation and detailed training. Security and safety are constantly monitored. The DDS has an extensive network of local agricultural advisors who live in villages throughout the region. This allows for yield results and other important information to be returned to headquarters for ongoing evaluation. This program has been so successful that some senior advisors have established their own farming businesses. One of these advisors is John Ochimana. John lives in an outstation near Amani and is in the process of establishing his own seed multiplication farm. Setting up a multiplication farm is a major undertaking. First, the land has to be cleared, then contour ridges made. To get the work done quickly and in time for planting, neighbors and friends all help. The musicians are not only there for entertainment, they set the pace for the work. After 13 years of service with the DDS, John has become a great innovator and demonstrator of improved farming methods. By his use of improved seeds and modified traditional farming systems, John has gained optimum benefit from his land. He is a respected man in the community who is listened to and whose advice on farming problems is often sought. He is a great example to farmers and over the years has worked closely with his own local community and many farmer councils throughout the region.
Ibadji is inaccessible for at least 6 months of the year, but during the dry season it can be reached by a road constructed by the people.
The farmers in this area have the most productive farms in Igalaland. However, because farms are located close to the river Niger, they live in constant fear of flooding and of the crops being swept away. Because of this flooding, transportation of crops by road is impossible for 6 months of the year. In the past, farmers would sell their crops as soon as the floods came, and sadly be without sufficient food later on in the year. To combat this, the DDS encouraged farmers not to sell their crops, but to store and process them. The project was a success. By using improved storage methods and by processing their crops, farmers now reap a greater benefit from their own harvest. One of the staple foods of Africa is the cassava. At planting time, farmers collect cassava sticks from multiplication farms. Later, the sticks will be planted in the earth. At harvest time, the cassava stick produces a tuber which can be cooked and eaten. Through the work of the research and multiplication farms, the DDS has been able to introduce new varieties of cassavas. These cassavas have earlier maturity and higher yields. In the region of Ibaji, women play an active role in agriculture. They plant and harvest most of the rice crop, and they take responsibility for processing both the rice and maize crops. Crop processing came about when a group of women approached the DDS and asked for help in setting up a small mill. The women raised enough money to purchase a mill, and with some help and advice set in motion the milling of maize into flour. The day of arrival of a new mill is a day of thanks and celebration. And once again, the kola nut is shared. Another project in this region is the carpentry workshop. The workshop is both a production unit and a training center. At any one time, 6 youths receive training in woodwork and carpentry work. The apprentices learn how to make items like windows, doors, and rafters. They are then given training and experience in how to install these items in new and existing houses. When the course is completed, the DDS helps fund these young men to start up in business in their own communities. In this way, the carpentry workshop contributes to improved housing, employment, and the overall quality of life.
One of the most distressing factors in Nigeria at the moment is the very high level of unemployment. We are particularly concerned about the vast numbers of women who are unemployed.
One of the employment programs the DDS has organized in this region is quality tailoring and seamstress apprenticeships. Apprentices from all over the region are given courses in basic tailoring and sewing. Standards are high, and all work is assessed regularly. Upon successful completion of this course, students are given a loan to purchase the necessary equipment to set themselves up in business in their own community. One of the DDS's most successful and influential programs is the Apprentice Farmer Training Course. Before being accepted into this course, apprentices must have farming experience and a farm to work. It is a 1-year intensive program that covers all aspects of farming, and it uses the extensive facilities and staff of the DDS. Centered in Angpa is the Small Trader Training Program. Trading activities can range from the baking and selling of biscuits and bread to pottery and jewelry making. Particular attention is paid to accounting and money management. Many of these small businesses are initially funded by the DDS. Primary health care and nutrition programs form a major part of the work of the DDS. Constant heat and inadequate water supply create many problems, particularly for the very young. In Africa, the problem of dehydration is ever present, so there is a constant need for oral rehydration education. When a child becomes dehydrated due to diarrhea or vomiting, he can be treated at home by drinking a special solution of water, sugar, and salt. This formula information is given by demonstrations in villages and towns throughout Igalaland and at the primary healthcare clinic in Ogodo. This work is done in conjunction with the Nigerian government program. Because traditional ways of cooking often reduce the nutritional value of food, a nutrition education program was pioneered. Food demonstrations are given in villages and towns throughout the land. These popular demonstrations instruct people in the more nutritionally effective use of guinea corn, cowpeas, yams, and maize. Often as many as 200 people attend a demonstration, and 3 to 4 demonstrations are given every week. A new addition to the food supply in Igalaland is rabbit. The DDS, in cooperation with farmer councils, have developed rabbit raising. Rabbits are now important to the people because not only are they a good source of food protein, they are also a source of badly needed income. Through the influence of the DDS, vegetable growing has also become popular. Vegetable gardens can now be seen throughout the region, and vegetables grown in these small patches form an integral part of the diet of the people.
When the team goes out to the village and find people who are in need of hospitalization, they bring them to the hospital where they are treated.
The hospital in Ayangba has been upgraded from a clinic to full hospital status. It now has a full complement of doctors, staff, and equipment. The DDS's involvement has been to procure the grants and finances necessary to equip and staff this modern hospital. Included in the primary health care program is an antenatal program. This program has a two-pronged approach. First, the education of parents through the nutrition program, and secondly, through a child care program. This program pays particular attention to children in need of special care. The success of this program is evidenced in the healthy phases of these premature twins. Care, attention, and a little assistance at the right time can save many a young life. Of particular concern is the care and rehabilitation of physically handicapped children and adults. Many children are referred for treatment to centers and hospitals throughout the state. Therapy and treatment is funded by the DDS. This program gives new hope and meaning to both children and parents. Handicapped adults, too, are cared for and retrained to find a useful and productive place in society. Primary health care is incomplete without an adequate water supply. In most villages in Igalaland, water has to be purchased, and water rationing is a fact of everyday life. The DDS has embarked on projects to provide water wherever possible. A measure of the importance of water can be evidenced in the fact that this expensive water system was largely financed by the local community. The opening and blessing of this completed water project is a day of great importance and celebration. Throughout Igalaland, other water projects are in various stages of completion, due in large part to the research and development of the DDS's Water Projects Scheme. Village chiefs organize and facilitate primary health care programs at local level. Without their active support and cooperation, little progress could be made. The work of the DDS is vital, necessary, and important. However, its continued success must now be the responsibility of local personnel who are qualified, trained, and committed.
So it's up to us.
Meantime, there is work to be done. The rehabilitation program for the handicapped must be continued. The youth employment project needs further development. A water project needs attention. Meetings must be attended. But then, that's next week's work.